So, topic of Postman or API. So, triggering runs with webhooks. Webhook provides a way to automatically send data from one application to another. That's what we call it as a webhook. Using a webhook, you can trigger a collection run in Postman at a specific time or when an event occurs. You can also send a custom payload to the webhook, which can be accessed when the collection runs. This enables the collection to be run independently of any environment, instead relying only on the data sent to the webhook. So now how to create a webhook? We want to creating practically because some infra is required. So I'll tell you the procedure. So when and how it's required, you can do that. So with the collection webhook, data is sent to the webhook URL using a post request when certain events are triggered. It's up to you to configure the application that sends the data, what the trigger events are. So the data sent to the webhook is accessible inside the collection in the global object using scripts. You can parse the data and use it during the collection run in any way possible. So webhooks for collection can only be created using the Postman API. To create a webhook, you need to you need to do more research on this webhooks, and you have to go through the API Postman API webhook documentation. But to have some amount of understanding, so you have to write a small script. Inside that script, you have in the request body of the webhook. Inside that, you have to write globals.previous request object. You have to mention this globals dot previous request, and then you have to mention the data parameter also separately inside that. And once it is done, you have to send that output to the another API. So the data that's sent to the collection webhook can be used to define a logic and trigger another API. That's what the main important. The data which is sent to the data which is sent to the collection webhook. So because this collection has been webhooked, this collection has been hooked with another web application. When some event happens inside that application, this because of this hookup between the web application and this postman collection, so that triggers an action. So because of this action, uh, this will send some information or will do some action on another API or another API. So the data that's sent to the collection webhook can be used to define logic and trigger another API. For example, you might set up a webhook for your GitHub repository. Based on the updates happening in your repository, you can use the webhook to run custom build pipelines or perform CA tests. Yes, correct, absolutely. That's what we do in this is the actual real case use in development environment or production environment, wherever it may be. Okay.